Hey guys. Okay, so today, because I am not in class, I'm going to take you guys through this media bias that the other classes have already learned, and then you will take your vocab quiz at the end of class. So media bias is really important, and learning how to decode media bias is absolutely vital in today's day and age. There are so many ways for people to self-publish and get information onto the internet and shared with friends that sometimes it's difficult to understand what has been checked, what's real, and what is that quote unquote fake news. So, we're going to kind of talk about that a little bit today. And then your November and December current events are going to reflect this effort. So, the current event assignment is officially changed. Okay, it's not going to be how it was last time. You're going to use the link for the November and December. I'll show you how to do that at the end. Okay, so first we're just going to talk about media bias. So what I'm going to have you guys do is open up a document, put it in your shared folder, and label it media bias. And then what I want you to do is pause the video right now and jot down all the different ways that you get media. Okay, where you get news, not media, but maybe it's news media. How do you find out about the news? Do you get it shared from Snapchat, like the news screen that comes up on Snapchat? Do you watch the news? Is the news on at your house that your parents have on? Do you listen to the radio at all? Do you listen to friends? Sometimes we get news through friends, and then sometimes we see things. So go ahead and just pause the video right now or my recording and go ahead and write down all the different places you get news. Great. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to play this video, and I'm going to pause it. And when I pause it, you're going to write some different tweets. So down below your warm-up, what I want you to do is come up with a handle, okay, and then you can come up with a fun name. And this is going to stay, like I said, in your shared folder, and I'll check this on the quarter 2 notebook quiz. And what you want to be thinking about while you're watching the video is what could be some comments that you could post or tweet rather, and hashtags. Remember that we're going at, oh right, I think this is longer now, right? It's no longer 140 characters, so you get a little bit more space. And it could be an observation, a question, a comment, something that you have. All right, here we go.
Welcome to the brave new world of social media, where most of us get our news and political information. The upside is we get to participate in this conversation as never before. We comment, we share, we tweet, we retweet. But our favorite social networks have also amped up the power of the opinionators. Sometimes this activates us.
Because if there is ever a time to stand, the time is now.
And sometimes it feeds us distortion.
It's just a stupid opinion. I mean, it's a misunderstanding of...
My name's Juana Summers, and I'm an editor for CNN Politics based in Washington, D.C. One of the great things and one of the horrible things about social media is that everybody can have their say. It's kind of a marketplace of ideas, and some voices that sometimes are not correct or have a very partisan slant can oftentimes get amplified.
It wasn't always this way.
Okay, go ahead, guys. Make sure that you use hashtags and make a comment, a question, or an observation for something that you've seen, an opinion that you have so far in the video.
With Trayvon Martin's killing in 2012 by George Zimmerman, we saw a new pattern of coverage emerge. Trayvon's death became a meme that led to an agenda war on social media and a now familiar shouting match on cable television, with wildly diverging narratives based on where you turned or clicked.
Jim Rutenberg, media columnist, The New York Times. We are in a whole new world where Twitter, Facebook, and social media are driving coverage nationwide. So CNN, Fox, MSNBC is going to pick one side, and if enough people like the way it sounds and want to believe it, it's off to the races.
The wheels are in motion for a complete character assassination of
Trayvon Martin behaving in a thuggish manner, assaulting George Zimmerman.
For a thug, how about the guy who chased down the 17-year-old and shot him in the chest?
What we want when we're covering race is some kind of national conversation that leads us somewhere good. But if you're only going with the divided take, us against them, right against left, it's hard to see us coming to some place of reconciliation.
Now that we can program our own news diet online, it's even easier to seek out what we want to believe. The irony is that instead of expanding our worldview, social networks can easily become accomplices in shrinking it.
I'm Brooke Gladstone, the co-host and managing editor of On the Media, a national program produced by WNYC. There is a tendency in the digital media for a heightened phenomenon to occur, incestuous amplification. If you are in an echo chamber where you're only speaking to like-minded people, it tends to heighten the extreme voices and marginalize the moderate ones. It creates an atmosphere that is incredibly intolerant online.
Okay, guys, so just a little guidance here. I want you to react specifically to incestuous amplification, that phrase, and also echo chamber. If you've experienced this before, what your thoughts on it are, or if you feel like you don't understand it, or if you can define it. So we're speaking specifically to those terms: incestuous amplification and echo chamber. Ready, set, go.
And if Facebook is your go-to news source, it pays to understand how it works.
Facebook's main goal is to keep you on its site. Its algorithm is set up to give you what you want. An algorithm is a formula that Facebook engineers have put together to maybe even know what you like before you know what you like.
If you don't relish the idea of a computer algorithm responding to your likes and dislikes, you have to figure out how to curate your news for yourself. Certainly, the news choices that you make will help determine your view of an event of the world. Even more important, your view of the world determines what your news choices are. It really begins with you. So the question is, what do you do?
I would love it if I could tell every person in America to read something you violently disagree with once a week. If you're a diehard MSNBC watcher, go turn on Fox. If you love to read Breitbart and Town Hall, go listen to NPR for a day. Maybe there's something there for you to challenge your assumptions and the things that you typically read.
You can employ deputy curators on Twitter, say. You find people who are experts in the areas that you care about, going beyond the usual suspects and actually clicking further distances than you normally do.
If you're just swiping through your Facebook or your Twitter, go past the headline or the image that you're seeing and ask, what's the full story? What's the source of the information? And just being really critical of that.
Today, it only takes a minute to Google something you see online and find out if it's been updated or fact-checked.
Don't reflexively retweet. You are feeding back into the system that is feeding into you. You're a part of this now.
The great news about the...
Okay, guys, so guidance on this one is what kind of responsibility do we have as citizens when sharing media that we read?
Advent of social media is that there is more information at your fingertips. You can take advantage of that, and you can be the best informed citizen in history.
In the digital age, everyone with a keyboard can be a creator or a distributor of content. We have more power than ever, and with that comes responsibility. It's on us to be our own media keepers and to engage thoughtfully in the evolving landscape of digital democracy.
Okay, awesome. So actually what I meant in the last one was how we share our news, not how we share our media, but I think you guys understand what I meant with that. All right, so as we're thinking about this, here's the question again, incestuous amplification. Now I want you to make sure that you do have an answer to it. What does it mean? And how do news sources that you use align with this idea? Has this ever happened to you? Do you feel like you fell into the hole, the trap of that echo chamber where you weren't really getting the full story and maybe later it was revealed to you? So go ahead and share maybe a time that's happened or your thoughts on that, and then that'll be the final thing that we put in that Google on that Google document. Go ahead and answer this question. I'll give you a second to do that. You guys can pause the video if you need to. And then I'm going to lead you to where you will look if your last name is A through L in the next current event for November. But December, folks, M through Z, you also need to be paying attention because this is your new assignment as well for December, which is coming very quickly. So when you go into Canvas and you scroll all the way down to, get you guys back out to our Canvas page. Go to Civics and Economics, click on Modules. Scroll down to where you see the current event for November or December, depending on your last name. It will be published by the time you guys come to it. When you click on this link, bring you to this old familiar page here. And so now September and October is highlighted because we're done with it. So now you're going to click on November, December, click on Detect Bias. And so this is the sheet that you're going to use. So when it's your month, you're going to make a copy of this. This is the exact thing I want you to turn in. You don't have to reproduce, make your own or anything. Use this exact document here. And what you're going to do is, first off, I just want to let you guys know that this will take just a little bit longer. This is a little bit more labor intensive than the September, October current event was. So just make sure you leave yourself enough time to do this, because you're not just going to look at one article, you're going to look at 3 articles, okay? So I want you to pick an issue, and you're going to see how the left covered it, how the right covered it, and then find a center article. And so what that's going to mean is going to this website, which when I take you guys to it, you'll see that there are different issues that are here for you right up at the front here, and you have one written from the center, from the right, and from the left. And so you can find, if you come on one day and you don't like any of the stories of the week or that particular day, just wait a day, check back in the next day. These get updated pretty quickly. Also, you can scroll down here and see different articles that are from different sides, but it has to be the same topic. You can't write one thing from the left about Jeff Sessions, and then something from the right about how the elections went, and then something from the center about what they think Democrats are going to do with control of the House. It has to be all one issue. So if you're going to talk about the Justice Department and Jeff Sessions, then you have to talk about it from the left, the right, and the center, all about Jeff Sessions. So it has to be all one thing. Okay, so I'm actually, as I'm reading this, I'm like reading all the news too. So I was like, oh, I got distracted. What happened to RBG? All right. So I think that's it. Okay, that's exactly what you need to do. And then you take that information and you plug it in over here, and you do the same thing. So what's the headline? What's the center headline? What's the right headline? What I would say is do one article at a time. So read thoroughly through and do the left, then do the right, then do the center. Make sure you save the pages, because if you don't do them, not that you have to do them all at one time, like all in one day, but it might be more difficult to find these articles. So at least open them. Maybe actually, yeah, the first thing that you should do is open them and put their web links down here so that you can always get back to them, okay, of the actual articles. So open this, copy and paste the web link, put it inside. That's what I would say is actually most important. Do that, because then you can get back to them. Otherwise, it might get lost when you come back. Like I said, they update these different news, the news cycles, and then you might not be able to find what you were working on. I would hate for that to happen and you lose it. So make sure you copy and paste the actual sites when you open this up. Copy this, and then take it into your site and plug it in. Okay? All right, guys, so that's November and December. That gets you through news bias. And so now you have a little bit of time. You can work on, you can study for your vocab 10 quiz. You can work on vocab 11. You can work on your polls if you haven't finished those. You can write your interest letters. That's the final component for the project. Make sure your group website is all done, or you can start working on November current event if your last name is A through L. All right, guys, have a great weekend. Make sure that your websites are finished. We should see a due date of Wednesday for those political party projects. Everything should be linked to the websites. And so when you turn everything in, it should be shared with me. Make sure that I don't have to click and ask for permission and anything like that. And I will see you all on Tuesday. Have a great weekend.